Things are not all right for the Nashville Predators. What needs to be done in order to turn things around for a playoff push?
Your Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Locked On Predators podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Thank you for making us your first stop of the day. We are your free daily Nashville Predators podcast. I want to start off by shouting out all of our Locked On Predators podcast community and our everydayers who tune in to chat all things Preds every day. My name is Jack Williams, and I am the host of the Locked On Predators podcast and the Nashville Predators beat writer for the Hockey News. Before we get into it, remember our mailbag, Locked On Predators mailbag. If you guys want to get involved in the episode, ask your question, get a shout out on Mailbag Mondays. We're always looking for questions. Yo, that mailbag was popping off right after I recorded the episode, so we got some good content coming up for next Monday. But y'all keep submitting. We love the mailbag. If you guys want to get involved, you can find the link in the episode description. It's a Google link, very, very easy to fill out. Just need your question and your name if you want to or not. That is optional. But Locked On Predators mailbag, get involved for sure. Now, I know the definition of things not being all right is very broad in the sense of talking about this team, and that things have been in a various layers of not being all right, from wow, everything is awful at the beginning of the year, to things are getting better, but they're still in a bad place, to now where wow, this team has been in wild card position for two and a half months now, and they cannot make the move into a playoff spot, and kind of still in the middle of the road of wanting to do a deeper rebuild versus wanting to push with their current core. As of now, March 16th, March 17th for you guys, they are slipping out of the wild card spot once again, now 4 points behind the curve. Came right up to it again with just 1 point at hand to go and make that push right over into the playoff spot. Lost grasp it again, are back within the 4-point threshold again, looking like it's slipping again. The way this trend's going, they get to that 4-point threshold, they're able to push back up, and then they push back down. It's been kind of a back and forth lately, but it seems like now it's coming to a little bit of an end, and this is a decision point here coming up, and just the way the team's playing, which hasn't been very good lately. And talking about various aspects of this game that need to be fixed. The biggest one right now, or I shouldn't say the biggest one, but at least one of them, I think both problems are very equal, is the power play. The power play has been absolutely dreadful these last 4 games, and the 4 games that I've been measuring are the best way to look at how this team has been close to the wild card spot and completely let it slip over these 4 games, and just measured out just how bad they've been in this stretch. And they've gone up to it. They've played well in some of these matchups, and then these last 2, they've been dreadful, played down to their opponents, and the power play has really encapsulated that. Power play is 1 of 10 in the last 4 games, and that went for 0 for 3 in the loss to Edmonton. 1 for 10, y'all. That is abysmal, and we have not seen numbers like this since the beginning of the year, when I think I had it up, they were like 7 for 20 something, 30 something at the beginning of the year, executing at 16% into through the first month of the season. Now, again, this is just a 4-game sampling, but 1 of 10, and you're executing now at 10%. That's real bad, y'all. That's real bad. And they're seemingly reverting back to those beginning of the year numbers of just what's not working. And we'll talk about at the end of this segment here what I saw wasn't working, and I think it's just simple things, or it might be the pressure mounting up a little bit more than the power play isn't working and needing to get things to go. But the first thing we're going to talk about is how can we switch up these units that we're looking at right now. As of now, the power play 1 is Forsberg, O'Reilly, Stamkos, Marchessault, and Josi. The second one is Evanglista, Ufko, Woods, Shea, and Haula. These have been the remaining power play units for since the Boston game, when all those trades were made and new guys were coming in. You got guys from Milwaukee coming up. The power play 1 has stayed pretty much the same for the majority of the year, and having Forsberg, Stamkos, O'Reilly mainly in there, and Josi. Marchessault, I think, is a new addition, and kind of swapping Evangelista and Haula in and out of there a little bit more. But as of now, as we discussed last episode, the veterans aren't playing very well right now. It's the young guys that are really giving the team an edge. Filip Forsberg has not scored or recorded a point in 4 games. Neither has Luke Evanglista. Neither has Erik Haula. Steven Stamkos has 2 points in 4 games. Roman Josi has 2 points in 4 games. Ryan O'Reilly has 2 points in 4 games. Meanwhile, you have guys like Matthew Wood who have 5 points in 5 games. You have Ryan Ufko who has 3 points in 4 games, I believe. And you have Fedor Svechkov, who's on a little bit of a run as well right now. You have some really good guys that are starting to heat up now. It's the young guys that are playing well, and the old guys, these veterans, these star players that aren't stepping up the way they need to be, especially right now. And Ryan O'Reilly talked a little bit about it after the Edmonton game and saying, one, calling the power play effort garbage, which that's 110% true, but saying credit to the younger guys for stepping up. It's great that they've been stepping up, but these older guys, us, the veterans, we really need to step up because this is unacceptable. And it isn't. This is a moment in the season where your stars need to be playing like stars. Your goal scorers need to be playing like goal scorers. And you can't just have young guys carrying the effort all the way through. Some solutions for maybe the power play effort would be, I think, moving Matthew Wood up and move Filip Forsberg down. You have a guy that's seemingly finding the puck a little bit more, having a little bit more puck luck, scoring, a guy that has a bigger frame that can get to the net a little bit more, create some traffic out front, maybe open up some gaps for guys like Stamkos, who hasn't been hitting as much lately. A guy that can do a little bit of both and that he can create chaos in the slot area and can score the puck versus Filip Forsberg, who really hasn't been doing much. Yes, he has had his looks, but it's not showing up on the score sheet. That is for sure. And then in the second pairing, I think you might want to try Tyson Jost there instead of Erik Haula, just because Erik Haula, again, has not been playing well. And when this guy doesn't play well, he racks up the penalty minutes, and it doesn't do any benefit to the Predators in that regard. Tyson Jost is another guy that has heated it up and really stepped up. Obviously not a rookie or a young guy, but a bottom 6 player, bottom 3 player that is stepped up in these last few games, and maybe worth giving him some power play unit time and just seeing how he does out there. I know they want to amplify his role a little bit more and putting him into a center position and allowing him that opportunity to establish depth down the middle. This would be a great opportunity for them to try him out a little bit more over Haula, who just isn't playing well right now. And Evangelista, a guy that usually rolls off of the success of these stronger players who aren't playing well. He's usually the guy that has the primary, secondary assists on Stamkos goals or O'Reilly goals or Forsberg goals or anything like that, and just hasn't been going here. Maybe it's time to move him off the power play a little bit and try for one of the younger guys that are playing well. Schaefer, Weisblatt, 2 guys that their stats aren't exploding, but maybe you want to get them a little bit more power play time and see how they do there instead of Evangelista. And just right now, it needs to come to the situation of whatever is working, do it. Continue rolling with it. Try it. Whatever isn't working, you got to cut that out of your diet, or you got to limit it, or you got to find ways to make it work. If this power play unit isn't going to work, you need to find ways to mix it up. And if there are guys playing that well, throw them in the unit. Try it out. It's not going to hurt anyone, especially when you're in a race right now to get into the wild card and you're executing at a 1 of 10 rate at 10%. Try anything at this point. Try whatever's going to work. Put Matthew Wood in different situations. I mean, he's playing great. Fedor Svechkov was a name I mentioned him earlier, forgot to throw him here. Throw him into the power play unit too. Absolutely. Pull Evangelista out, throw him in, take Haula out, put Svechkov in there, and try these guys out on these units and see how it goes. You have nothing to lose at this point because you are not playing well at all, especially on this power play. The worst you could do is you have one less goal on this and you're 0 for 10. 1 of 10 is still pretty awful. 0 for 3 against Edmonton, still pretty awful. You need to think outside the box a little bit more. And I swear to God, if we see any more of this scratching of the young guys constantly, I know it's Brunette's whole philosophy of, they need to watch the game and stuff like that. These young guys are the ones playing well right now. Maybe I doubt he'd ever do this, or it's not really the smart move at all, but sit some of these older guys. If the young guys are scoring and finding ways to get to the net and all that, do that. What benefit do you have in having these young guys, these big star players on the ice and them just not contribute to anything? What do you gain out of that? That's my whole thing in this. As for what's going wrong in these power plays, and I looked back at the Edmonton games and looked at the 3 power plays that they had, there were just, I mean, there's multiple things happening on each of them that you can get to the intricacies, and then it comes down to, well, that might just be situational. Well, in my opinion, the shots are just getting off really fast. It looks like they're pushing the one-timer a lot and not really looking for a good shot. They're looking for a quick shot. Maybe it's worth trying a little bit more time to get a better shot off, maybe a wrister, maybe a harder wind up slap shot instead of all these one timer. Stamkos getting a lot of good looks from the one timer slot and the one timer area on the right side of the ice. And that's where he has had a lot of success. But when you're not hitting the net and when it's not working lately, maybe work it out, open your gaps up a little bit more, find a shooting lane that's going to stay open for a bit longer and work to get a shot that's going to you have some time to work for as well. I mean, we can talk about the Edmonton power play that Draisaitl scored on. It was McDavid dragging all the attention over to the left side of the ice. He was able to slide it over to Draisaitl, who was there by himself, gave himself about 2 seconds to kind of stick handle the puck a little bit more, get a good shot off that beat on the opposite side on the right post. Maybe do that a little bit more. And that could be incorporated with just the stress of the power play not working and wanting to get fast, hard shots off in that moment there. Slow it down a little bit. I mean, that's the thing I'm yelling from inside my head a lot in the press box. Slow things down a little bit. I know there's an urgency to score, urgency to get things going, but and hockey's a fast game. But the benefit of some of this stuff is, take some time to get a good look at the net. Take some time to get a good play going. And I think the power play that needs to be the thing here is just take a half a second to breathe. You don't need to rip off every single shot that the puck comes to you, and just pace yourself. I mean, you have the man advantage, set up the zone and get a good flow working. I think one of the power plays that the Predators had, they had a odd man break going the other way, and it was just because they're not slowing things down. They're pushing things way too fast. Like, take a breather, take it easy, take it a second. I understand the unit's not working right now, and it can be extremely stressful when that's not happening and wanting to be go in the moment. But yeah, take a second to just recollect, set up the zone. And God, you got to love really good zone play, really good zone setup, really good flow. And I believe settling that down could get this power play unit going a little bit more, but it needs to start off with amplifying the guys that are playing well, putting them on power play 1s and 2s, moving some of those guys down or out, and then starting to set up a little bit more of a flow here. So that's my solution to the power play. I don't know if anybody's going to listen to it, but probably not. But if anybody from the coaching staff listens to this, I doubt that. But yeah, just something needs to be done because the power play needs to be going, especially if you want to be a playoff team. But when we come back, we are going to talk about the starts and breaking it down a little bit more. This is something we've talked about all year, but it's different this time. And we'll break down the statistics and just buying into what needs to work in order to make this go, or maybe even giving into the issue in order to make it go. That will be coming up right after the break. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. So getting into the starts, and I know we've talked about this at longevity of length and all of it this year, and rightfully so. This team has just been bad from the get-go. They have been slow out the gate. They've been the horse you don't want to bet on when you're starting the race because they've been slow. Sometimes they make a little bit run at the beginning there and get it and win at the finish line. But they've been the losing horse most of the time in some of these games, especially as of late. And breaking down these stats a little bit more, it just hasn't been the goals lately. It's just been the effort all around the 20 minutes. The goals are obviously going to matter at the end of the night because that's indicative to the final score. That is the final score. But looking at it, I mean, let's break it down game for game in the last four. Against Buffalo, they had a 6-2 shot advantage. It was tied 0-0 at the end of first period. All right. This is the only shot advantage they've had over the last four games. A 19-7 shot disadvantage for the Predators against Seattle and went down 2-0 in that period. They gave up 19 shots in the first 20 minutes of the game. And then 2 nights later against one of the worst, not one of the worst, the worst team in the NHL, you get outshot 12-5 and somehow miraculously get out of that period with a 1-1 tie. That's more on Vancouver's goaltender where you're giving up a goal on 5 shots. Credit to the Predators for finding the twine, but 12-5 against the worst team in the NHL. And you could argue it cleaned up a little bit against Edmonton in the sense of the lesser of 4-3 evils of the 2 evils. 12-5 shot advantage, Vancouver night before. The night against Edmonton, hey, you got 7 shots on that, but you get outshot 11-7 and you're down 1-0 in the first period. Now, put these numbers together. In 3 and 2, 4, 6, 8, in 80 minutes of first period, so 4 games in the first period, they have been outshot 42-25 and outscored 4-1. In one of those games, they had a shot advantage of 6. They have had not more than 7 shots in a first period in the last 4 games. In that first game, they limited their opponents to 2 shots. There were less than 10 shots total in the first period in the Buffalo game. And that's not normal. I mean, 6-6, 6-7, 6-8, okay. 2-6, that's violently low. And then you turn around and you let your opponent get almost 20. And surprisingly, they won the game, but just getting behind the ball. And Yossi and Brunette have talked about this, about, the issue that we've been seeing is that we're letting the game to come to us. We're not going to the game. There's just a lack of urgency. And yeah. But it's just gotten to the point to now, this point of the year, where it's like, I don't think there's anything that can be done about it anymore. Because I've been talking about this ever since I came on this podcast in December. It's been the same mess since December, where they want to play comeback kids. And, in the beginning of December, when they were playing well, it was like, we're going down 1-0 early. We're going down 2-0 early. Go to that. And all right, that's manageable. You're able to make up that ground and you'll get back and win. And then we got to the extreme where they're going down like 5-0 to the Blues, come back to win, scoring 6 straight goals, or playing the Wild and you go down twice and you end up making a comeback to the extreme. And now we're here where the goal differential is not that bad. 1-1, 1-0, 2-0, and 2-0 is not great, 0-0, but you're just getting your butt kicked in general with the effort in the period. And it gets to the point where like, well, what next? What do you do? We're in March. We're about a month out from the start of the playoffs. You guys keep coming up to this threshold. You can't meet it. And the biggest factor is you just can't start games well. And you've shown in the games that you start well, the games that you play well, you win sizably. The Avalanche game and the Edmonton game. You stuck pace with the team that you were with. You played better than them and you were rewarded in the end. So what's the solution to this? You might just need to lean into the cast and say, look, we're going to play bad in the first period. We know that. We can try our best best we can to play good hockey. And, it's gotten to the point where like, you know what? It just doesn't seem like it's going to work. It just doesn't seem like we're going to play good hockey to start off these games. And accepting that and then going off, all right, well, let's just make it a track meet. Let's just score as many goals as we can through the rest of the game and just score as much as we can and find the back of the net as much as you can and amplify the scoring as much as we can and have it be like a it's going to make the goaltending and the defense look really bad, but the defense has been awful. So maybe just lean into it, let the goaltending be God, and just let the offense dominate and have these 8-5 results, 7-4 results, 3-3 with the overtime winner being a 4-3 game. Like, you see Saros and Justus Onanen might not get a shutout for the rest of the year, but you're finding ways to win games because you're finding ways to score. And that starts with amplifying the offense completely more. And then that goes back to our past argument. Like, you need your old guys, you need your veterans, you need your key players to start contributing. These young guys can't carry this effort. They bring in a great energy to this squad, but you need the Ryan O'Reillys. You need the Steven Stamkoses. Stamkoses, is that the plurality of his name? I don't know. You need going down the list, like Eric Holla, Filip Forsberg, you need Roman Josi. You need these guys going and stuff like all that. And then just amplify your offense, like just energize your offense to high ends. That's the only way to beat around this, because at this point, I don't think there is no way of fixing how bad this team plays in the first period. It's too late in the season. This was an issue back in December and November during Christmas and Thanksgiving. That was, if we want to talk about Thanksgiving, when they started turning things around a little bit more, November, December, January, February, March. That was 4 months ago. And it's still not turned around. You just need to lean into it. Be like, all right, this is going to be bad. We can't play 60. We'll play a bad 20, but we'll play an elite, unbelievable hockey for 40. That's the only way I could see it. And I know this sounds pessimistic and not great, but you need to lean into the chaos at this point, because this is the only way that I believe that you can finally push yourself into the playoffs. Because whatever you're doing right now is not it. That ain't it, y'all. That's just not it. So speeding up the starts, lean into it, lean into the chaos, and find ways to, when you're running all around, the only thing that's coming to mind is like Sonic, like you're gaining up all the speed and you're charging up and stuff like that. And yes, you're going all over the place, but eventually all that speed's going to narrow out and you'll go straight forward. And that's where the winning comes in. And you know what? Like I said, it might be awful defensive battles, but the offense is pow, 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 clicking everywhere. Then you're good. You're golden. Before we get into the last segment, which we'll talk about the Jets, I want to talk about the Everyday Club. Thank you guys for making Locked On Predators your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad free. Join the Everyday Club today and get Locked On Predators with no interruptions. Members only Discord access and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to lockedonpredators.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. When we come back, it's another big game. And this might be the last hurrah, in my opinion. It may not be. I still think this team's going to narrowly miss the playoffs. But there's a lot of chaos coming up with the Jets coming to town. And frankly, the Predators have not played well against the Jets. We will talk about that game coming up right after the break. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood Predictions Markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood Prediction Markets changes the game. It's people moving with the action. So when momentum shifts, you can always move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant of swap firm. So Winnipeg's on the board here, which has not gone well this year. And frankly, it's one of the more interesting fall-offs from a President's Trophy winner, and that Winnipeg is fighting like heck to get into the playoffs right now. And they are cruising right up onto the Predators right now. They are right there with Nashville. And this team looked like they were down and out for a bit. And the Jets are in prime position right now. If I was the Jets, man, you got to be gearing up the plane right now. You're running up the runway right now, and you have this Predators team in front of you. It looks like you're gonna blow right through them because the Predators have played so bad against the Jets this year. 2 meetings, the Jets have won both of them, outscoring them 9-3 in 2 games. The first one was a 4-1 Predators loss in Winnipeg. The second one was a 5-2 Predators loss in Nashville. And both of them have a similar theme in just the Predators started slow and they fully underestimated the opponent and just could not recover at all. The first game was a 4-1 loss and they fell into a 4-1 hole. And that's the game. 4-0 hole. And that was the game. And they gave up a goal 2:39 in. Again, starting slow and just expecting kind of things to come to them. And they just didn't. Just didn't come with them. Winnipeg is still a very talented team. There's just been some things that they haven't been able to put together this year. And you still have a team that guided the United States to their first Olympic medal since 1980 in Connor Hellebuyck, and a guy who won the Calder, not the Calder, the Vezina and the Hart for team MVP, for league MVP as a goaltender, which doesn't happen too often. And you can't just expect the game to come to you, especially when you go up against a guy like that. And then in the second game in Nashville, they fell into a 3-0 hole, and they're giving up a goal 47 seconds into the game. They're chasing it, and they just can't catch up. They expect things to come to them. They expect the game to get going, and it never does. This team does not know how to hit the gas as soon as the puck drops. And that's what's shown against Winnipeg. They're having a lot of trouble going up against goalies as they are getting a good number of shots on that. They got 30 on Connor Hellebuyck, only 1 got through. And then Comrie, 21, which is, not 21. They got 23 shots on net, 21 were saved. A good total, but having trouble just breaking these goaltenders. If they go against Hellebuyck, you got to throw Saros in the other end, and then you have to have your defense play well or something, because that, again, like it completely contradicts what I just said last segment of energizing up the offense, but Hellebuck's not going to let in a lot, and you need somebody to match that intensity over there. So, I mean, it is what it is, and trying to figure that out. But the goal for this and a lot of these games lately is at least aim to get through the first 10 minutes of a game without letting in a goal. Like, these first goals in the first 10 minutes of these games are getting ridiculous, y'all. Like, what is going on? It's just, again, just the complacency, just no urgency, and just letting in whatever is getting thrown at you right from the beginning. And again, I just don't blaming the goaltender. Again, I think this is a great fan base of not blaming the goalie, because you guys, like, again, there's a whole history of goalies amplifying this organization, and that's great. And I think y'all understand that it's not the goalie's fault every night, and most nights, especially this team, it's not. But you need your defense to play better in front of you in the first 10 minutes. That just should be the goal in general. Don't allow a goal in the first 10 minutes of the game. I'm going to say that should be their goal for the game against the Jets. Don't allow a goal in the first 10 minutes. Let's see if they live up to it. And then in Wednesday's cast, we will talk about the results and what had happened. But they're facing a decent PK, so that's not great for their power play. They're facing one that's kind of in the middle of the pack in the Jets, coming off a game where they faced 3 of the bottom 7 PKs in the league, the 7 worst PKs in the league. 2 of them in the Kraken and the Canucks are 2 of the worst penalty killing teams in the league. And against Vancouver, they couldn't get a goal. I think it was Vancouver. Either way, only one of them they scored a goal against. So, I mean, it wasn't Edmonton, but it was Vancouver or Seattle. One of them went in. I believe it was Seattle. But they're facing that was against a bad PK. Now they're going up against a decent PK, and we'll try to see what will happen here. The key of this game is that Winnipeg is completely caught up to Nashville now. It seemed like there was a really wide gap between, not a wild gap, but it was a close race between the wild card teams. It was Utah's pulled away a little bit now, but it's been Seattle, LA, San Jose, and Nashville for a while. It's been those 4 teams, and then there was like a wide gap between Winnipeg and Chicago to get up to Nashville. Well, Nashville's just been, I don't know what they've been doing, but that's allowed Winnipeg to kind of turn on their jets, no pun intended, and go 5-2-0 over the last 7, and now they are within a point of the Predators. If they win Tuesday night, they will pass the Predators, and they will be within 3 of a playoff spot. They've been playing extremely well right now. They have a 3-1 win over the Avalanche, was one of their more recent wins. They have everything going for them right now. They're ramping up momentum. You're going up against a team in Nashville that is on the downslide. They're hosting them in Winnipeg. You've won 2 out of the 3 games this year. Winnipeg has got every single thing going for them right now, and Nashville has truly nothing going for them in the moment. I'll say it. They don't have anything going for them right now. This could be a playoff-ending drive here. And just the group to get this lengthens even more. So, and the Predators are on the bottom of this group that is not just up to, you have the 1 team in, you have 2 out, LA, Seattle, San Jose. You have 3 teams that are closer. Then you have Predators on the outside looking in and Winnipeg. Well, then, so you're dealing with the 3 in front of you. If you let Winnipeg win, you now have 4 in front of you that you have to deal with now. And it just gets harder if this game gets dropped. And I'm just maybe this is the spot we'll leave it at. If they lose this, it's going to be much harder, even more harder than it already is to get into a playoff spot, because these teams in front of you are driving. They're playing well. LA's playing fantastic right now. You're not taking advantage of some of these low points that some of these teams are having. Yes, you just can't string wins together. Roman Josi talked about how this team needs to consistently string wins together. And they've had moments where they could. There was a stint where San Jose was playing really, really bad. Seattle had a low point. LA's just been really hot right now, y'all. They've really kicked it into a different gear. You have Winnipeg starting to play well now. You're not taking advantage of the moments that these teams are giving you. Instead, you're just kind of fumbling wins and picking up points here and there. And the drive is going to get a lot harder here, and that playoff expectation is just going to get slimmer and slimmer if they can't close out against the Jets on Tuesday night. But that will be happening at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time in Winnipeg. I'll be watching the game. Remember, those 10 minutes, that's what we're going to keep tabs on for y'all. That's what we're all going to keep tabs on. You know what? We're going to talk about it on the Wednesday night episode, the next episode of the Locked On Predators podcast. But thank you for joining me for this episode of the Locked On Predators podcast. If you guys are interested in all my ramblings and what's so nuts, at Jack G. Williams on Twitter/X. If you guys want to read any of my stuff, I am a writer first. The Hockey News Nashville Predators. You can find all my stuff under there. Wrote a nice story. You guys kind of got a sneak preview of it here on the podcast, just talking about how the younger guys have stepped up here and the veterans really need to as well. Also have a story coming out that I've been kind of jostling around a little bit more. Do we think Tyson Jost deserves a contract extension? He's been playing well lately. He's been one of the better guys lately. Kind of starting to come in a little bit more of a role of a depth center. Does he deserve an extension when the free agency period comes up? Expect that to be coming out soon. I think it'd be an interesting article. And then if you guys are just interested in Locked On Predators, Twitter, LO_Predators, Facebook and Instagram, we're just Locked On Predators. And hey, Everyday Club, $5 a month, $50 a year. Get member-only Discord access, and you also get ad-free audio, all built for our most loyal fans. But thank you guys so much. Very thankful for you guys. Very appreciative of you guys. Thank you for listening. I'm always thankful that you guys come here every day to listen to me chat and yell about the Predators and all that and jumbling what's so now. Hey, they're coming back to town soon at the end of this week. That's going to be great to get back into Bridgestone. But again, Jack G. Williams here, or I don't know why I gave you my middle initial, Jack Williams here. And thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Locked On Predators. I will see y'all tomorrow.